Conor, say the words.
Haha.
Say the words.
I was right. Is that what you want me to say?
Yeah. Well, I didn't want you to say it, but it was inevitable.
Was I right or was I right? I don't know.
Well, I think we both said, spoiler alert, Murray Gold is back.
Spoiler alert, it's been announced.
We both said he was...
Spoiler alert.
We both said he was probably going to be back. I said that I don't think he'd be doing season 14. And it's pretty much... It's all but confirmed he's doing season 14.
Yeah. Who else, man? That's what Russell said in his Instagram post. Who else?
Maybe a fresh face.
Hey, get a fresh face when Russell leaves again.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Let's start thinking about the next era, just as we haven't even had the first episode of this era.
This is how I please you. Murray will be gone soon, okay?
I'm happy with Murray back. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure he's going to do a fantastic job. All of his stuff always sounds different. You compare how he ended Doctor Who to how he started it. Actually, that's a lie. I think he ended it and kind of went a bit full circle. But I reckon
that's a lie. Why I just say
early Pete era, it goes quite different. What's a lie?
No, you said that. I was just I'm just making fun of what you said. Nah, I was up at 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. Because spoiler alert, I actually did get COVID. So again, 2.0. So I was awake. I was up at 3 a.m. I was like, and you know how recently they took them away and brought them back. They took away the ticks on accounts.
Oh, on Twitter.
On
Sorry.
Twitter.
I got really confused.
And
I zoned out for a sentence and then completely.
No, that's all right. And I went on Twitter and I saw it. But I know they eventually came back, the ticks for accounts with over 1 million followers, which the Doctor Who Twitter has. Mm-hmm. But I saw this thing that said Murray Gold is back, and I'd seen a few of these floating around the last couple of days. There was a quite convincing. I didn't fall for it. It was a quite convincing Matt Smith one, because accounts weren't verified for 24, 48 hours.
Yeah.
So people were running rampant, going, "This is a Doctor Who official account. Matt Smith's back." Mm-hmm. And I saw that, and I'm like, could it be? Is it real?
No.
And it was real. No. It was the official account. And I was ecstatic. The first thing I did was message our group chat, and you were asleep, obviously. So
I'm happy he's back.
You're a normal person asleep at 3 a.m.
I'm happy he's back. I'm bummed he's back for season 14. I'm not bummed. He's fantastic.
What's wrong with you?
Just with so much old boys back, you know what I mean? I'd love just to diversify it a bit. You know, and there's all the directors for Series 14 are new, and Murray's going to do new score and stuff like that. And the other counter argument I have is that everyone's saying, Murray's back. It's going to be the same show that it was. They're just doing season 1 all over again. And I'm like, oh my God, everyone's kicking up a big fuss about Murray. And it's brother, how many TV shows do you watch that you don't even notice the score? And that's not a bad thing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Most BBC shows, at least.
Yeah. Why? He's back. It's great news, but it's not
you don't seem happy about it at all.
I'm just a little bummed about the Series 14 thing. And I just genuinely really could do with some fresh blood, because he's a very percussion. I don't know fucking anything about music.
Strings.
His music, as much as his stuff always does sound different, and he did experiment with some synth stuff in the Peter Capaldi era, but you can I love the Years and Years score, but I do think it sounds like it could be in Doctor Who. It doesn't sound exactly like Doctor Who, and it's all this big heavy drums, strings and the guitar going, and I just would have preferred a bit of a different sound, maybe something a little bit closer to Sagan. I like Sagan's work, but maybe a Sagan Akinol that stands out maybe a little bit more than Sagan's did a lot of the time.
Okay. Well, I think, you said that his approach, I think, with Peter's era was very different to what he had done with Eccleston and Tennant and Smith. So I think we could actually get something really cool here. I was just really happy and excited, and I think this is just it actually is kind of it's kind of weird actually, but it literally is the original team. It's pretty nuts. It's Julie, it's Phil, it's Russell, it's Murray.
Jane Tranter, who you would also know from Succession.
Well, yeah. Okay.
She's produced on Succession. What do you want from it? Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she said.
Oh, fuck, really?
Yeah.
Holy shit, okay. Well, David's back as well, and Donna, and of course a load of other characters, and it's okay, this does feel interesting. It does feel like it's kind of 2000 and what? I know it came back in 2005, but like when was like 2008, 2009, 2010, you know, like it just kind of feels like a little bit.
That's where I'm a little bit like, you know, I love he's back for the 60th. I actually, if they didn't have him back, I would actually be a little bit thinking about red flags and stuff, you know, but it's the fact he's back for Series 14 where I'm just like, just that fresh bit of air would be nice. I'm sure he'll do a fantastic job. I'm sure come Series 14, I'll be singing his praises. But for now,
I think it was just going to happen, man. Like, I just think, like, I'm not trying to. I know I was memeing.
Russell needs new friends. He needs to make new composer friends.
That's the thing. Like, I know I've been memeing hard on Twitter about it, but you know, I'm not a genius for guessing this. Everyone
guessed it though. That's the thing.
Everyone guessed it. Like.
Yeah,
but I guessed it first, obviously, and
yeah,
you know, I was the ringleader.
You were the bloody caveman, mate.
I don't know. I think people guessed he was doing the 60th. I don't think a lot of people thought he was going to do season 14.
I think dude, I'd seen so much stuff about that.
You didn't.
I didn't. No, I said I think he could.
Aiden the hater. I'm
mate.
Just saying, man.
Connor's like, I got something right.
I didn't see a lot of it, so I don't know. I don't know who
mate.
You're following on Twitter.
Well, you're the one that couldn't find the stuff that we were talking about this morning on Twitter. That's okay, irrelevant. Let's.
And then I did eventually find it, and I put it in a document and sent it to you because we do research on this show because we are the 50% Doctor Who podcast. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 50Doctor.
My God, Connor, you did so well there.
Well, I want to plug the Instagram because I'm actually doing good with the Instagram now. I'm posting pictures of Shooty's booty.
We clap for Connor and Shooty's booty, which is
I just feel like he
fine.
Had fun on Twitter. I want to do that on Instagram. You know?
Have some Insta fun, mate, because I have Twitter fun. Okay, hit subscribe. We're going to get to 1,000 subscribers. If you like Ted Lasso, I have a spin-off Ted Lasso podcast with my good friend Vinny. Enjoying it. Had a lot of fun over there. It's good stuff. Good laugh. This week's episode, really fun. Like of our podcast was really fun. Yeah. I know you've got mixed opinions of where Lasso's at the moment.
I'm in shackles. I've been told not to talk about it.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Conor. This is a Ted Lasso. This is a pro Ted Lasso podcast.
Although I am waiting for the invite to go on that show.
But it just will never come.
Yeah, did it get lost in the mail?
Well, where's the invite? What? No, well, also on today's show, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Murray Gold stuff because we did get some more insight from Doctor Who magazine.
The stuff Conor sent to Aiden today.
The stuff, yes. You sent me the research. You did good. Xmas filming continues. And I say continues.
Booty, yeah, because they did film a little bit before.
I don't say reshoots. A lot of people have been saying reshoots. It's not reshoots. I mean, it could be, but I don't think it is.
Can it be reshoots if they haven't stopped filming?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, they obviously...
Everyone on Doctor Who Twitter likes to think they're some kind of fucking, like, filmmaker, don't they?
Yeah, including us. Then, of course, we are going to review Rosa, which is... Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. That's been one that I've been so excited for us to get to for a long time. That's season 11, episode 3. And during that review, we're going to introduce a new segment. Whoa, imagine this late in the game with the reviews, we're bringing in a brand new segment. The segment is going to be called Big Doctor Energy. It's a pun on Big Dick Energy. Of course, in the first season of us having a female doctor, I have to introduce a segment called Big.
We're bringing the penises back.
We've got it. Yeah, well, I just refuse. I'm just that much of a misogynist.
Someone has to do it.
Someone's got to have a dick.
We need some penises around here.
So, yeah, like we said, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And Conor, you know what I think we should do?
Play the intro.
Thank you for stalling.
That's okay. That's what I do best.
50% podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Aiden's left the studio. He is back.
I was reframing the camera because you were only half in shot there. And
yeah, I'm sitting kind of weird today.
Sometimes
I try to...
I blame you.
I change my pose up every episode just to like keep things fresh.
Just to be trendy.
And you the whole time you're just like this.
Yeah, every week I'm just like sprawled doing different things.
Yeah. A scroll? Is that what you said?
I said sprawled because I'm like, I've got to do this, I've got to do that.
How have you been, Aiden? You been okay?
Why? What is this? What is this? A mental health check-in?
We were beefing this week.
We didn't beef this week.
We were beefing. It was Murray brought out the worst in the other one, apparently.
I think you thought that I was actually pissed off when we were messaging because I wasn't.
We don't argue. We just fire.
We just tell each other to fuck off.
We bicker a little bit, you know. And I was like, let's break bread over Murray's head. just smack it over his head and break it.
What are you? Well, I was gonna say, what are you drinking tonight? It's Somersby. It's boring. I just wanted to say,
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be a basic bitch.
I'm drinking a new pale ale, hazy, the Purple Haze pale ale.
So
This is the Fremantle Dockers, my football club's new beer. And if anyone asks me how they're going this season, no comment, because it's not been a great
I was going to
start.
say it is. So I could see now it is Pirate Life, but that
Yeah,
was
it's
who
a
did
Pirate
it
Life
last time.
crossover.
But I was like, did they drop Pirate Life or something? 'Cause
No.
it didn't look like. I like that. You should definitely keep one as well, like last year. Yeah, football teams, they're great, aren't they?
They exist, and
Maybe that's why Aiden's so angry at the moment. Is it because of Freo doing so bad?
I mean, it's probably that. It's probably my car costing me $1,000. It's probably
Yeah, well, my car, I got a thing in my car today. It's going to cost me $1,200.
that's the big sad, isn't
My
it?
brake pads snapped while I was going through a roundabout. I literally could have died. Like,
Safety.
I literally could have
Safety.
died. My brakes didn't stop, and I had to, like, you know, in like Revenge of the Sith in the first act when Obi-Wan like crashes that ship and lands it with no brakes. That
Yep.
literally is what I was like. That's all I could think about, because I had to like glide onto.
You were like,
off the road onto grass. I'm laughing now, but
You landed, and you were like, "Hello there."
I could have been really hurt or crash into someone. So, you know, God bless. My mum said it wasn't my day to go today. Someone's looking out for me. Maybe it's to do this podcast. Who knows?
Yeah, and maybe on the way home, your Uber will have its brakes snap, and then
And then that'll be it. But yeah, $1,200. Like, could
Money.
like I got COVID and I fucking in the same week I get a $1,200 fucking car service fee. What next? Am I gonna get struck by lightning?
it would make the story more
Are my
interesting.
fucking nuts gonna drop off or something? What's gonna happen next, Aiden?
I hope your nuts drop off, because then I can eat them.
Good protein, mate.
Don't know what's going on there. Murray G, we said he's back. Doctor Who magazine gave us a few little tidbits as to little nuggets. We won't go into all of it,
Yeah.
because you should read it yourselves when it comes to
Yeah,
Australia
Aiden loves to support
in 3 years' time.
media.
But the big things are he's been teasing that there's going to be more than one theme song, right? He was like, "Who says there has to be the same theme song every week? Why can't we change it every week?"
And Aiden's like, I want more. I want something different.
To-
He's
well-
like, I'll change it every week. How about that? And
Not
Aiden's
happy.
like,
No.
oh no, that's
Don't
too
do it.
much.
I hope
Don't change it every week.
I'm
Yeah.
keen for this whole like different one every week for the 60th, but then I hope like come series 14 we get a stable one that helps to like create like a brand consistency thing throughout the era. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they seem to be doing the same thing about the costume. It seems to be like, you know, like
Swippity swap.
yeah. So I feel like maybe they would change up the. It'd be interesting if like we're getting this like 60th episode. I wonder if like the say for the theme for that episode would be like quite. You know, it's like I got chills and multiplying.
So they're
like
gonna-
that beat over.
So it's not going to be a Doctor Who theme. It's going to be
I can't even do it. I can't even do it.
1 week. 1 week it's going to be Grease.
Yeah.
The next week it's bloody High
What?
School Musical. Who says we have to let it
Or
go?
like, you know, they have a unit episode as well, so that one could be like like it really
does
like,
that mean?
Like it's like really like in your face, like yeah, like you know, it's quite you know. But then
Well,
the
then-
'60s one can be a bit like you know what I'm saying? Maybe Murray's listening to this going like, oh, I don't have any ideas, but that slaps.
That's actually a great idea, though. I
Yeah.
didn't think of it like that, where like the themes can set up the era of the episode. They can work to set that up.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, you need, I think, look, you need something to stand out these days, and I think that's kind of what he's referring to. I don't know.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm curious if that would cross over into to
Maybe
series
I'm nuts.
14.
Maybe I'm these nuts.
I'm also, part of me is like, maybe, what if they're like, what if it's like RTD, episode 1 of the 60th is like it's just like a series 4 episode, right?
You
What
keep
if,
saying this. We don't know that at all.
trust me, I've been there, I was
You're
on
like,
set.
You're always like,
I've
the
seen it
first
all.
episode is just going to be setting up the Doctor and Drum. Like, have you got like an advanced copy or something?
I've seen it, mate. I was there on set. I actually wrote it.
Okay. All right.
But
I'll
you
get
know,
those notes up. but
general vibe is series is episode 1 is like series 4 vibes, right? So what if they like whip out the series 4 theme then, right? Maybe he's like re-recording it so it's a little bit different.
I would love to hear that.
And then I would love to. I know it's like one of those things where I keep being like, change it up, but I'd love to hear that.
Bring it back.
And then it's like special 2. Like strong rumors that Mel's going to be in it. Maybe we hear McCoy's theme.
No, you hear a scream and then it goes, dun 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 dun. You hear a scream theme. It's like a screamo theme.
Mate, we already got that. That's 12's title sequence.
Oh god.
Okay, all right, okay. But maybe it's like they're re-recording them, but they're gonna be a theme that relates to maybe an era that's represented in each episode. Maybe. I don't fucking know, mate. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, so he says, what I would say is we might be talking about more than one main theme. I don't see why it can't be a different one each week.
Which, to be fair, I don't see why not. I don't see why it couldn't be a new Doctor
Can't you
every
say that
week.
about yeah, you can say that about anything. It's like, and that's probably the same thing they're doing about the costume. It's like a different costume each week, because why not? Because we're changing, we're going to the 60s. We're also doing a unit episode. We're blah, blah, blah. This is a Christmas episode. Why isn't he not wearing a Santa's fucking
hat?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like...
He also says something along the lines of like Donna's theme is going to be very present in Special 1, which again ties into the whole thing that like episode 1's very Donna Doctor setup thing.
Yeah, as I said, he teases here, it's inevitable that you're going to get some old music. For example, there's a little bit of Donna's theme as soon as we hear her. It's funny, he says hear her, so we must hear her first.
Yeah.
I was such a nerd, I'm like, ooh, we hear her before we see her. I'm like, me pitching the 60th in my head, like
I
how
thought
it's
that
going to
as well.
start. Like, okay, we're going to hear her before we see her.
Here's what it's going to be.
That.
It's either going to be Grandad, or it's going to be Norris.
Yeah. All right. And then also,
Sorry, I touched you with my toes.
I know, very cold feet there.
Yeah, my feet are cold.
It's cold in Australia.
It is.
They also said they're going to be using... There's a bit of the Doctor's theme in there as well. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, okay. But not all old recordings, all the music that I've done so far is brand new, even when it's evoking an older theme. Then I think for Shoot, it's important that the music feels brand new. So, go on, Aiden, you hater. How can you hate him for saying that?
He's saying all the right things, right? But there is just like a dark cloud in my mind that keeps saying, no. Aiden, you have to be angry about something. You are a Doctor Who fan.
Yeah,
be
okay.
angry. And then it thunders lightning, and it's like, this era's fucked, and it's not even started yet. Which is a lie. I think everything looks fantastic for this era. So.
Are you mad about this? Finally, Gold spoke about their MIA Season 10 soundtrack release. He says, I don't know what happened. Well, you know what happened.
I don't know what happened to it.
Well, all those world events happened. But it's out there, somewhere. He continued, look, it will come out, but it's an exclusive. The Season 10 album will see the light of day, by hook or by crook. So I just love how he's like, I don't know what happened.
I know.
What do you mean? It's your score. What do you mean you don't know what happened? And he's like, oh yeah, COVID happened. But Season 10 came out in
2017, yeah.
It was like a couple years before the pandemic.
My theory is...
So funny. I love Murray.
I think, did the Series 9 soundtrack get released in like 2019, 2020 or something?
Yeah, it was later, yeah.
It was really late. My theory is...
Season 11 had either about to come out or it had come out, something like that.
Yeah, I think it might have already come out.
Yeah, because it had the logo, the Doctor Who, Jodie's logo, yeah.
I think my theory, based off literally nothing, is that he went in and did like the edits and like the final sound mix and whatever he's involved in the post-production, maybe like doing some kind of re-recording for the album release, because we know that they do something special for the album. It's not just they rip it straight from the show, right? So part of me thinks maybe he went and did 9 and 10 together, and 10 was going to get released like shortly after, and then COVID happened, and I don't know how that affected it. But I wonder if he's done his part of it already, and it's just the final copy just sat on someone's desk waiting for it, and then maybe got to a point where they were like, the 60th is coming up, that'll be huge. So surely it's coming out this year.
I hope so, and I really do hope we get some kind of vinyl release of the records that haven't been put on vinyl. I think
gotta
that'd be a
happen.
really great thing to happen.
Give me my money.
Do they not want to make money? Like,
Stupid.
are they insane?
Stupid Doctor Who. A Christmas special. We said it's filming. Filming continues.
No, Aiden. It's reshoots.
Some fucking reshoots. No, I understand. So recently Rachel Staley put out a tweet, and she was kind of disgruntled that someone had referred to some of the stuff that they were shooting for the 60th as reshoots, and she said no, it wasn't reshoots. It was just that the TARDIS wasn't ready to be shot in at the time, so we had to shoot.
And
that
she said
stuff
it really
later.
upset her. Like, something about Rachel being upset makes me want to like cry.
Well,
'cause she's so sweet.
I think for me, it's like I kind of understand now that referring to something as reshoots, which shouldn't do, but it does come with negative connotations, right? You automatically think something's shooting, something wasn't right, which is true. Like if you do reshoot, it's because things aren't right, but that's okay. That's the nature of film production and giving yourselves enough time to figure that stuff out. It's a problem solving thing, you know that. So I understand that there can be like negative connotations attached to that word. So people use it saying that this is reshoots and stuff. I don't think that's the case. We've never seen this stuff being shot before. And we know that when they were shooting the Christmas special, Shooty was filming Sex Education. So I think that they'd obviously scheduled this out, and it's just the way it worked out that this episode's been split up, being filmed across like a month or two, you know, and they filmed another episode in between.
Well, yeah, it's back in. They're back filming in Bristol, so it could easily just be like a scheduling thing. Like, we need to make sure all the crew can be ready to go to Bristol like next week. You know?
There's so
Simple as
many.
that. Yeah, now we have the
puzzle
main
things.
lead here. We can now go to Bristol and do this and that. You know.
Yeah.
And
man,
it looks great.
One of the first
It really
things
does.
I thought was the stuff we saw of Millie. I swear at one point she was acting against a green screen, like outside in Bristol. And like someone was like, what are they going to do? CGI Shooty in?
God.
And then like Shooty was on a street, and I'm like, I'm sure it's the same street that they shot on already. Like, I'm sure it is. And part of me was like, are they going to cross it? Are they going to green screen Shooty with that? 100% that's not what's happening.
Right.
But part of me was like, is there merit? Is there method to that madness?
I don't like, man, filming schedules are whack. Like, before they did all this, the 60th, sorry, the 60s shooting for all the, for the 60s episode. I keep saying the 60th.
Yeah.
The 60s episode that they're
nice.
doing.
Good words.
Both Millie and Shooty posted, like, them, like, on separate holidays.
Yeah.
And then, like, a couple of days later, they were filming the 60s episode, and then now they're in Bristol. It's like,
All over the place.
it's insane. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, I think, like, some people, and it's fine. I think some people don't really understand sometimes how it works. Like, when I was a kid, I was like, why don't they just shoot episode 1 to, like, 13 in order? It's just not how it works.
Put it this way.
Yeah, that's how I thought it worked, though.
I've often thought like that kind of thing. Like sometimes I do say things. I dumb things down a lot on this podcast now because I've become aware that there is a lot of stuff that people just aren't aware of in the film world, like of filmmaking and stuff.
I don't know what the cotton room floor
that's
means.
totally fine. Can I say, and this is probably going to sound a little bit dicky, but I spoke to an editor of a film. No, he was the DP of a film on when I graduated uni, right? He was a cinematographer on another film, and it didn't really come together. And I was sort of told to the cinematographer, and obviously I wasn't like, what the fuck happened there? But I was just chatting, and he was a good friend of mine.
Loser, is that what you said?
And yeah, I was like, what are you fucking doing there, you loser? And he was like, yeah, like, so basically what happened was instead of doing a take, so in film world, you'll do someone's close up, usually you'll run like the entire scene or a segment of a scene, and then you'll change onto the other camera shot and do the other person's close up, right? You'll do the full scene, right? What these people did, what this director and producer and stuff did, for no reason, they would shoot someone's line, then they would turn around and film the other person's line, then they would turn around and film the first person's line, and they would go back and forth. You know the kind of stuff you do when you're like,
no, you do
very
you do
young.
it all in one, so it doesn't like it's changed. Yeah,
yeah, like you and also like fluidity for actors and things like that. That stuff's so important. And these people at the end of their film degree were doing that.
Right.
And I was like, huh. I was just very fucking puzzled.
Do you know what movie taught me that existed?
What?
You'll never guess this. It's the fucking In-Betweeners movie 2. When we were watching the behind the scenes. With that scene with like, we're at the top of the slide. He's like talking to that bloke and it just like keeps cutting between. It's like, oh, you're going to lose. No, you're going to lose. I remember watching the behind the scenes, and it was just like Simon Bird doing all the lines like one after each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that makes so much sense.
What is
like,
editing?
Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, that does make sense. Like, you know what? Maybe those guys just didn't watch the In-Betweeners 2 bonus features.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing. It's like we assume, and I think a lot of Doctor Who fans who have been exposed to Confidential and stuff, we all know a decent amount about that kind of thing.
Intellectuals.
And I think people that haven't seen that stuff don't know that kind of thing a lot of the time. And I think sometimes we just assume that a lot of people know that stuff. So
well, Aiden credits Confidential for
me being a Mr. Film man.
Yeah.
There was a sonic screwdriver kind of on set. We saw Shooty doing a wavy thing, but no one saw a Sonic.
Yeah.
We could just see him waving it. So it's either...
Was there a green screen behind him?
CGI Sonic?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, maybe it was just CGI Sonic, or we couldn't see it, but I think it sounds like he actually didn't have a Sonic there. Right. So maybe it is like, it's not quite ready yet, so they're just going to be effective.
Oh, I wonder if they're going to keep the one that they used for the 60th, because David has a new one.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
Because big rip to Jodie's spoon Sonic that got destroyed in this week's comic.
Spoiler alert for Liberation of the Daleks in Doctor Who magazine.
It gets shot by a Dalek, so you know, it's like, all right, they needed a new Sonic, and somehow
DT got the Sonic.
And from what I've seen from the set pics of the new Sonic, it looks pretty cool.
I like it. It's like a whisk. The Fortnite leak has it looking really long, but I think that's because that's how Fortnite works. You have to hold it with two hands, and so you got to like.
God, yeah, run with the one with a.
It's like a cane. Sonic Cane returns.
Sonic Cane. Yeah. Get the Sonic Cane in Fortnite.
Oh man. Anything else you want to touch on with that Christmas filming or Murray Gold back, or should we go into the review?
Yeah, man, looks great. I just think the costume looks beaut, and he seems to be. I think he's knocking on Ruby's door.
I think so.
Knocking
on Ruby's door.
I mean, like,
is it gonna be?
What's he gonna do? Like, what's he saying?
Is he putting his head through the cat flap?
Hello.
And
hi.
That's a reference to
Rose.
Rose, yeah,
yeah. Oh, do they have cat flaps still? They're more big in the UK, aren't they?
How else is the adipose supposed to leave the house?
I think people started getting rid of cat flaps and door stuff because it intruders could come in.
Hold on, I have a dog flap in my house.
Yeah, but. You know, you can lock yours, can't you?
I think we can, but we don't.
That's what I'm saying.
Spoiler alert.
You can... Well, sorry.
Spoiler alert, my house gets robbed next week. But, yeah.
Being in that industry, I can just tell you a few things. I've never done anything illegal, but I know how to... I would know how to get in.
Well, but
I'm not...
You'd need a big fucking stick, bro.
No.
What are you talking? What, you're going to climb through the dog flap? Go on. Climb right now.
No.
Climb through my fucking dog flap.
I'm just saying, this is how terrible people think, and I'm not a terrible person, so I would never do it.
They climb through the dog flap.
No, that's
my dog's
impossible.
this fucking big. I couldn't fit my big toe through the dog flap.
It would be impossible. You couldn't. Are you like you know those people who like fit themselves in like suitcases and stuff?
Yeah, that's me.
You need someone like that.
No. Crawl up.
Nonce. Mr. Fantastic. Squeeze his hand through.
Yeah, you get... Blah, blah.
Yeah. But sadly, there are ways to do it, and it's pretty easy if you know, and it's terrible.
Put it this way. If you know, you know.
If we're good, we're good.
Succession reference. Let's get on with the review.
You got that.
Conor, ask me what this week's episode is called.
What's it called? I forgot.
Rosa.
Oh, yeah.
It is the third episode of the 11th series of the British science fiction television series program Doctor Who. It was written by Mallory Blackman and executive producer Chris Chibnall and directed by Mark Tondari, who did last week and we know is returning in season 14. It was first broadcast on BBC One on the 21st of October 2018. Man, this season came out late in the year. In the episode, the Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, and her companions, Graham, Ryan, and Yaz, arrive in Alabama in 1955 and find themselves seeking to stop time-traveling criminal Krasko. Also, basically time-traveling racist.
Yeah, the space racist, yeah.
We've gone from a space race to a space racist this week. From preventing Rosa Parks influencing the American civil rights movement during the Montgomery that's right.
Montgomery Burns.
That's good. I'm really glad that I've butchered this major historical, powerful event. But the whole bus riots, they're trying to stop the bus riots from happening, basically, right? Mm-hmm. Rosa Parks, big figure, big story, a massive influential moment in Earth's history, very important one, and what a fantastic idea for a Doctor Who episode. With that, it comes with a lot of weight. and a lot it needs to get right. Kind of in 2018, when this episode first came out, what did you think of Rosa?
Really liked it.
Yeah?
And I think this was a point for me where I was like, okay, this show can be really great when it wants to be.
Yeah.
But with everything that we'd gotten previously, the last 2 episodes, I was just not really feeling it. And then this one, I was like, okay, they cooked.
Damn, they're good.
Yeah, and I do recall this was the first, back in the day, this was the first episode that really got, it was like the first thing we heard about Jodie's era was that Chris wanted to do educational episodes, like back to what it kind of like Doctor Who was supposed to be back when it first started 60 years ago. It was supposed to be like an educational show, and I thought that was a really cool idea. And that was the episode of like Rosa Parks was going to be an episode that was like the first thing I think we heard.
I like how Chibnall really did run with that. We know in his era there was a lot of there was some like educational, was it like games or things that connected that like specifically for use in schools that connected to like Rosa, and I think there was one on Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. Yeah, there was like these little releases things that were used from the show to as like educational packages, which I think is really good, and it goes back to the roots of Doctor Who, and it's a very specific thing that I think Chibnall wanted to do.
Yeah, I really like that idea. I think it's really cute and
it's really
special episode. I think
I really liked it back in the day. I watched it, a rare episode where I watched it with my girlfriend on release.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She loved it. Like, she doesn't like Doctor Who. I think this is the only episode where she finished it and was like, oh, that was really good. She didn't care for bloody Kango Scango, whatever his name was. What's his name?
Mr. Racist.
Captain fucking Racist Man.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, she really loved it, and I really loved it. I think the only negative I had back then was, like, when that last song, which I think is amazing, comes on, I just remember being like, wow, and rise up, and you like jump in your seat a little bit, like, whoa, there's a song playing right now.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, I feel exactly the same way about this episode now.
Yeah, and you know what? Seriously, like, the space racist actually, like, as like a villain, didn't actually bug me as much as it did in the past.
He's good.
I think
bad, but
yeah, I'm being so careful what I say.
I'm pro space racist.
That's a joke. Jesus. No, I think it's actually a really interesting idea that this space race would want to go back to manipulate history, so this kind of thing didn't happen. And you know what? I think it also. Do you know what's funny? I think the worst character in this episode is kind of the Doctor. She doesn't really do anything. Like, it's the companions who get to, like, do shit. And I love that. Like, she doesn't really do anything at all. And, like, we get people like...
That's very classic, like, William Hartnell, Doctor Who, though.
I'm sure. Yeah. I would know all about that, you know?
Oh, yeah, all the episodes you've watched.
Mm-hmm. All 0 of them. But sorry, I've seen Twice Upon a Time.
The accurate portrayal. I think
the real portrayal.
The Doctor works as... I think Jodie, at least in this season, is pitched as a primary school teacher. I think that's really great. Like, just the way that she works, that she's, like, colourful, like, her clothing and stuff. But then, like, even down to, like, whiteboarding stuff on the wall to plan stuff out, she's, like, helping her students figure things out along the way. She's not giving all the answers. They're trying to do it a bit together. And I really liked that. I thought Jodie was good in this episode. I think, just before we move on from Krasko, I think he was, like, so... His, like, story is he's a racist. He was in Storm Cage, which was a cool reference. As a vortex manipulator, cool reference.
Yes, is that the prison we see?
That's where that river was trapped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I knew it right about. Okay.
Yeah. It's the like the warehouse looking.
That's the thing. They say this season real quick. Sorry, I know you're saying so. They say this season has like no references. There's the vortex manipulator, and she says cheap and nasty time travel, which is what Missy says.
Yeah,
cheap and nasty time travel about the vortex manipulator. That's 3 references.
Mm-hmm. So, all the references, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. This Krasko is pretty underdeveloped. Like, that's the key things, right? He went to Stormgate. Is it Stormgate or Storm Cage? He was at Storm Cage, and he's a space racist. That's his character, and I fucking love that. I love that he's literally just a fucking nobody, like, just racist. Because people like that are just kind of just fucking nobodies half the time, right?
Recluses, nobodies, yeah.
Just like
outcasts, you know.
I thought it. And the thing is as well, you could argue yes, maybe he could have been fleshed out a little bit more. But I think if he was fleshed out more, I think it would take time and a lot of the focus away from what is the most important thing, is that people are racist. People were racist. People still are racist. But people like Rosa Parks who stand up are so brave for doing what they did. And it would take away from that moment, I think, if you did have Krasko going, here is my master plan to bring racism back.
Wow.
Do you like that?
I love that. I like the glasses being taken off.
For the audio listeners. Took the glasses off. Yeah.
I think they did. I completely agree. I think they really... Do you know what? I'm going to say it. I think they did a fine job at making him evil and not giving him enough screen time for you to... where they were trying to maybe make you sympathize with him. He was just a bad dude.
Yeah.
Okay? Just a bad dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and...
Bad man.
I think I really messed with the episode. I thought it was great.
I fucked hard, bro. I really
hard
liked
and
it.
raw.
Yeah. Yeah.
It always has to go back to that. Yeah. And Jesus.
I didn't. I was just saying like I fucked with it.
Yeah.
But I forgot to say it, so I just said I fucked.
I think the best thing about it though is that we actually get time with Ryan and Yaz. Yes. And that's something I don't think those scenes are far from in between. There's even like a romance hinted that doesn't really go anywhere.
I always, and I didn't know if this was just me, and so I was going to wait for the season to pan out, but I always, in my first watch of season 11, thought that there was going to be a Yaz Ryan romance. I seriously thought there would be.
Me too. I thought, well, this episode kind of highly hints towards it.
They're just a little bit like flirty, not flirty. They're just. It's hard because you don't know. Like they're just being good mates, but there is like something that is like.
It's funny because
they won't they?
It's meant to be like an episode that's going to educate children, but I also think it doesn't treat kids like kids. It is very raw. It is what it is, and it doesn't hide the fact this is the world we live in. Even down to the fact that we get a reference to Yasmin sneaking into someone's bedroom when she was in year 10 to presumably have sex with them. And I think I think that's a reference that's actually quite... I like stuff like that. I think it adds character. Ryan's like, he was punching well above his weight. And it's like, okay, so now Ryan likes Yaz. So I like that, you know. But also I think, you know, taking away the sexy time, I think they do just have scenes together where Ryan is kind of just like, you know, today or December 1st, when Rosa did what she did, like it did change a lot of things, but it didn't change everything. And I think there's a really great scene where they are just sat down, where they literally have to like run out of a motel because the police are coming in and you can't. Fantastic scene. No, that police scene as well was fantastic. The supporting cast was so great. Good. Like everyone all these like Americans who I might be wrong here, but I'm assuming they're putting on an accent. Probably a lot of them are, yeah. Like. Even like this, there's like a side character that they try and like fuck with his bus schedule, and the doctor's like, "You gotta go see Frank Sinatra," and he's like, "My wife loves Sinatra." I was like, "This is just such a funny performance." It like is convincing, like it's so good. And even down to I would personally find doing a role like that incredibly difficult to be racist on screen and make it believable. Yeah, but I think the supporting cast I got, even people who are in just like little scenes, like the first time we see racism aimed towards the fam is when Ryan gets slapped. Oh yeah, that was a good and I think scene. just the guy they got to play him was just so convincing, so angry, so hateful, and it keep really, your hands off my wife. Yeah, it's just like it was. Do you know what this episode really did for me? So I'm talking too much. I'll just say one more thing. Because I actually really loved it. I think this episode, in the best way possible, was really hard to watch. I struggled to watch scenes because it was just so confronting for me. That's probably a good compliment to give it. But I think it is. I think, there's some fantastic stuff in it. I think, let's just start before I forget. You know, I always like to say this, but what do I love, Conor? I love me some location filming yeah. In any TV Africa? This was TV show. Sorry, I can't talk today on a podcast. South Africa, they filmed this in, and the big spider story. I just think
the Saki spider.
What?
There was like a story. Remember Jodie got attacked by a spider?
A South African spider.
Yeah, it was in South Africa. Yeah,
Interesting.
I think it was when they were filming Rosa.
I think for me, this shows like, obviously they're not, in like a South African desert or anything. They're just taking advantage of the fact that they have like different architecture in South Africa, and like I guess the sun's like a similar vibe. And I think that this goes a long way to show how important location filming is in terms of just setting up an environment like this, because Flux is an imperfect, just fun ride, right? We know that. We agree with it. It's fun. One of the things that I know there was no workaround for it, but Flux doesn't have a lot of location filming. And it's COVID central, mate. It's COVID central. You got episode 2 where they got a fuck ton, which was great, but it's just Doctor Who in a field again, it's fine. And I think it looks amazing, that stuff. It really does.
Yeah.
But then you have like Dan Street 100 times.
Liverpool Stadium.
But there's times where it's like, when they're on like Once Upon a Time and they're on like the CGI desert planet and stuff, and it's kind of quite obviously CGI. It's very good. It is good, but
They have the pier head and stuff, don't they?
yeah, like that's what I mean. Like, there's also like Liverpool things and stuff like that. But I would have loved to have seen them actually go to some slightly different environments, which I know like it's not criticism because they couldn't. Right? It was COVID central, mate.
So it makes you appreciate this more.
Yeah, and I think it does make me wonder, like, how big and adventurous and maybe, like, slightly more believable and better could Flux have been if they did have these kind of resources available. I think Flux is a fun ride. I don't want this to come off as a criticism of Flux at all. But, yeah, fantastic location work, but also just production design in terms of, like, the buses they've got, all the costumes. That stuff's all fantastic.
Yeah, no, man. I think the episode, what it does best is like it actually utilizes what the characters are going through and what they actually stand for, and we actually do get to see stuff like, Graham is a bus driver, which comes into play. Yeah, Grace would mention about the bus driver who was telling Rosa Parks to sit into the black people only section. That's how I think it's a really good callback. It's like that's how he knew what his name was. Ryan has issues with being picked on for being black. Racism. We have Yaz, who is working in the police force, who also has to deal with racism of being like a Muslim going to like the mosque and stuff and all that kind of thing.
She gets called a fucking Mexican in this.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That stuff's where it's like kind of hard to watch. You've seen these people say that kind of thing.
That's what I mean. I can't actually like. I think I slept in this episode for way too long. I actually don't think I've seen an episode of Doctor Who that actually has affected me like this in a while. Like, I really don't. Like, I found it really confronting. There were words said in this episode that I don't even want to say out loud.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that. Yeah.
I don't know if it was maybe a different time. I don't know if you can say that kind of thing now. I might be wrong, but to me it was like it was just, I don't know, man. I just think like life is just fucking hard and stuff like this happened, and it's just, I think it's something that we just need to look back on as like humanity and be like incredibly ashamed of.
Of course.
100%. It's just incredibly depressing that all, and like, don't get me wrong, unfortunately it's still happening now. I mean, even look at stuff now, it's like, I'm not saying racism's gone away, but we now have like the trans issue and like gay rights and stuff, and we have these bigots who want to fight all these issues that just aren't issues.
We have these Kraskos.
These Kraskos, yeah, and I think this episode is just such a great interpretation of what it was really like in these times where people should quite frankly just be completely and utterly like ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's
disgusting, man. And I think it was a fucking great episode, though. I really don't think they could have done it better, maybe in a few little areas, but I really fucking loved it.
I fuck with it big time. You know what the biggest theory that never went anywhere was
Ryan and Yaz.
No, there's a suitcase where it's like, I don't know, Krasko's fucking
when they get
traveling suitcase, and there's like 3 letters on it, and like after this episode aired, I just remember like the socials being like, what do the 3 letters mean? What does like EFG or whatever the letters, what do they mean? And I just remember like so getting into that, and I was like, who the fuck's Krasko working for, gang? Krasko's gonna be back.
Wait till we see the suitcase in episode 10.
Yeah,
So that's where it landed.
That's Tim Shaw was like,
Yeah.
I am racist, Tim
My
Shaw.
suitcase. Finally. Yeah.
Tim Shaw's just a racist.
Yeah. Oh, finally. I can be you. I can be this evil man. I am Tim Shaw. This is literally how Tim Shaw talks, though. That's
I am Tim Shaw.
I am Tim Shaw. I am racist.
I am racist, Tim Shaw.
I hate everybody. Yeah, okay. It's like, I don't know. I think that stuff is kind of like silly, but I agree. Like, I don't think they could have done it in a different way without them trying to, because we even have stuff with like the Master or something, like you kind of sympathize with them, and I feel like they could have really. You're right. When they were right in this, I think they had to walk like a thin line.
I think there's a decision, and this is 100% something that they would have spoken about, I bet you. Because the ultimate source of conflict for this episode would have been, if, like in terms of a climax, would have been like Rosa getting off the bus early or something like that, and the doctor having to be like, Rosa, you need to go on the bus right now, like you need to do it, and then she goes and does it. 100% that was a conversation that would have been had. I think it was very a wise and brave decision to make sure that it was Rosa that made that decision for herself. The doctor and companions' actions do not at all influence what Rosa ends up doing on the bus, and I think that's a really good idea, because if you do start fucking with that kind of thing, you take credit away from Rosa making that decision for herself and being brave enough to stand up for herself. So I think it was a really good thing. Just the plot in general, just quietly, we didn't really say. It's like it's Krasko trying to, like, he's just doing everything possible.
Yeah, we kind of briefly mentioned it. Yeah, to stop the events happening, because he's like a space racist.
Racist, yeah.
And like, yeah.
Like, what I mean is, like, I think this is such a great plot that you could use in literally any like historical episode, like someone trying to stop this significant event from happening. And I just thought it's the perfect plot to use for this episode. Don't know how it's not really been used before. I'm sure someone's going to be like, excuse me, in the fucking War Games episode 3, there was this plot. But
actually, Aiden, that's where you're wrong. Yeah.
But like, I think it's a great plot. They can only really use it once. But it's fantastic. I love like alternate history and people trying to fuck with time and things like that. So
yeah, I think it's a really great idea. And I think it's an incredibly interesting storyline for an episode that I think, you know what, people always mention Rosa, and I was like, yeah, it was good, it was fine. Now I get it. Like, now I really get it. I think this is like, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it before, but I think this time I watched it, I was like, I really enjoyed this little location, the film locations, and just like the way it was directed was like really fun. There's like a lot of like, ooh, moving shots. It's like sweet. We get like that
first TARDIS appearing shot was
so
great.
Good, man. John made me laugh. Jodie can't fly the TARDIS. It's like, dude, did Chibnall really come in here and then make Jodie, who's the first female Doctor, not be able to fly the TARDIS?
Yeah.
I was like, bruh, come on.
I want to say, I fucking, and I've always been an ambassador of Sagan's score, right? I fucking slept on this episode's score forever. Like, I think this episode's score fucking slaps. There is so many bangers in this where I'm like, damn, people are like, Sagan just sits there going, boom, 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 boom. But like in this episode, he's going like, ba 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 ba. Like, he's bringing out all these massive fucking numbers, and I think it's fantastic. I also want to say before I forget, on my sleep playlist, you know, I have a bit of a sleep playlist that features a lot of Sagan music.
I do. I've gotten a few tracks off it, actually.
Good man. One of the pieces of score in there is called something that escapes me, and I will check it in 2 seconds.
Rosa.
But it's
from the episode Rosa.
It's the score that plays right there when they're looking at the asteroid, and I think that's a really fantastic way to finish off the episode.
Oh god, that's so funny. Yeah, I love the asteroid.
I think the scores there are fantastic.
It's called Rosa Parks.
It ties into that, like what I was saying before, into it being her being like a primary school teacher, she's applying it to this old thing that for a lot of kids teaching history, it's like a boring thing to teach kids history, right? And so applying it to this new massive space thing is a very like primary school technique. And I think that last scene was fantastic. The whole thing. We got to talk about this bus scene.
Yeah. How did you? It's funny. I feel like Tozen was so much better in this episode as well because they just seemed to give him something to do.
I agree. And
he actually was given something to do, and I think he actually was good.
A living icon of freedom is what the piece of music's called. You should all check it out.
But it took so long though. Her whole life. And that line literally gets me a little bit, but
and he got to meet Martha. What?
Martha.
What is wrong with me? Martin Luther King. He got to meet my boy Martin.
Oh, that was great. They gave him such good stuff to do, and they gave Yaz a lot to do as well. And I feel like they really focused on the companions who were, minorities, and I think that was the right way to go. Which I guess is why I'm kind of beefing with the Dot this week, because I feel like they didn't really do anything. But
I thought they did a decent. I thought it was fine. It wasn't a Doctor-centric episode, but I thought she got there, did a job.
I thought she was like fine. I think as a Doctor episode, I'm glad it was like almost like a Doctor Light episode, because I feel like I wanted to have more time with the companions. Really?
Yeah, I thought it was like a pretty even spread. Like, I don't know. I love watching this.
I guess agree or disagree, Aiden.
Let's talk about this bus scene, mate. It's important. Yeah. It's a big one. It's very tense leading up to it. It's very good the way it's executed. I think David Bradley, the first Doctor.
Dude, I do
the
that.
The original, you might say.
Remember I kept doing that and still do that? Yeah, that is Bradley
I do it all the time
Walsh.
as well. Bradley Walsh, the one and only. The original, you might say. His performance in there when he's like realised, like, oh, fuck, like we're all going to be on this bus, aren't we? I thought that was fantastic. That as a twist is fantastic. I'm so glad they were like, oh, fuck, like we're a part of history now. Like if we move, this isn't going to happen. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
All of their performances in those final scenes were great. I really felt for all of them, particularly like the 13th Doctor at that point, because she knows she's kind of brought the companions to this point. But I did feel when Rosa's getting like yelled at and stuff, the fact that the companions and the Doctor just had to literally sit there with their heads down and like every instinct. These characters are like some of the best of humanity, but if they arc up and try and defend her, then everything that
history will not happen.
Might have taken 10 years, 100 more years before movements were made in regards to racism and things like. And so I was like, that's such like a hard stab in the heart to just have to hear that all happening behind you, and you just have to sit there with your head down. I thought that was really neato. Yeah,
totally agree, man. I think it's a great scene. I really do. Who's the writer who writes with Chris?
Mallory Blackman, who I believe this is her only Doctor Who credit.
Yeah, it is. What else does she do? Does she do other TV shows? Because she's great, man. This is dope. Like,
yeah, this is dope.
This episode really just. Again, I don't want to say shocked me, but like I just generally was just not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did.
She has written a lot of books. I think I knew that already.
So she's an author.
She's an author mainly.
Okay.
This is the only Doctor Who credit, and she writes a lot of children's stuff, which is interesting. Like in terms of her books, she's done lots of picture books and books for new readers, short stories for children, that kind of thing. And then in terms of TV credits, her limited TV credits are sort of CBBS related.
Well, God bless her. What's her name again? Sorry,
Mallory Blackman.
Yeah, awesome, man. Like,
awesome work.
What a talent, I think this was such a great collab between her and Chris. I think I really think they nailed it. And the actress who plays Rosa.
Oh, fantastic!
It's fantastic. And so she's from Sherlock. She plays
Vinette Robinson.
Yeah, she plays what's her name in Sherlock, and she was great in that as well. One of the DIs.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought she was fucking flawless. I mean, she was great. I think there was no...
Her accent was perfect.
The accent was great, which is such a hard thing to do. And I think there wasn't a single time where I was like, this is just an actress playing a character. I generally just believe that's what Rosa Parks would be like,
Definitely. And
Oh man,
Yeah.
what a great episode! Fuck,
Great episode.
Really, this is probably the first. It's one of the episodes I think in a long time I've just been like, wow, that really was great.
Yeah.
Like I really liked it.
My only flaw is the minus thing, and I think everyone kind of agreed the song kind of it just like comes in really
The
strong.
song, yeah.
I love the song. I think it's a beautiful song, and I think it's used
cute.
really well.
It's cute, yeah.
But I think it just like maybe they didn't have like access to the original master recordings or something, because it just needed like a couple more of those piano beats to come in before the vocals come in, because it's literally like. Boom, you rise up. I just need like a bit of a boom, 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 and you. I also love the use of it at the end of the episode in the credits. It's a nice change.
And it goes into the Arachnids in the UK.
It does.
Next
It's
time
so
trailer,
odd.
which is so funny because it's like something's happening with the spiders in the UK. Rise up! It's like, what?
The alternative is putting Stormzy in it. Maybe that's what they do next week. I don't remember.
Oh, bro, I love Stormzy.
Okay,
Oh, God.
talking about this bus sequence, Connor. It
Yeah.
brings me to this new segment, mate.
Okay.
This new segment that we're doing, like I said, is Big Doctor Energy.
Okay.
Right? BDE. And it's basically the moment, like, what is the moment of the show? Kind of looking more at like a one character thing. You know, me and Vinny on our Ted Lasso podcast, we do a thing called like the MVP of the episode, the most valuable player. What character like did the most in that episode and stuff like that. So I guess we're looking at like one standout scene, maybe one standout performance from a scene in one character. For example, in Woman Who Fell to Earth, I would say Jodie on the crane at the end delivering that speech, I think is the Big Doctor Energy moment.
What about last week?
Last week, I don't think necessarily had a Big Doctor Energy.
The cigar was
The cigar.
Got that Big Doctor Energy. Is that what the theme's
Is that the sting you're looking for?
I don't know. I haven't heard this thing.
The
Did you
big...
get Chris to mix something up for you?
No, mate. I have my sources. So welcome for the very first time, Big Doctor Energy.
Go. Okay. Ooh, coming in with that heat.
Big Doctor Energy is sponsored by, and then that's when we get our sponsor. Insert sponsor
Pirate
here.
Life.
Pirate Life. It's not sponsored by Pirate Life.
Hey, it's for charity. Come on, give him a shout out.
Pirate Life, if you want to sponsor us, go for it. Are you just referring to us as charity? My Big Doctor Energy, I think
drink.
any other moment would just be nowhere near like standing up to this. Rosa standing up on the bus, I think is got to be the Big Doctor Energy moment of this week, right?
Well, I can't pick that now because that's the same as you.
Well, you can pick it, mate. We can agree on something.
We agree on heaps of things. I don't know. I guess I have to go with the bus as well.
You've got it, mate.
Thanks, Aiden.
There's nothing wrong with you
You've
saying...
made me a bus wanker.
All you have to
know?
do is go, yeah, I agree. That's all you have to do.
I agree.
But instead you have
Yeah.
to be like,
Yeah,
oh,
I had to
Aiden,
make a big scene
You
out of
ruined
it.
my fun. Now I
No.
look dumb.
I get show notes fucking late, okay? That's what my problem... I didn't know what to say.
Well, if I do them early, and this has happened before,
I knew-
stuff gets missed out because there's news that comes out the day before we do the
Look,
show.
I just thought it'd be interesting if I had a different one to you, but like with an episode like this, it's kind of like,
It's
how
gotta
could
be
you
the
give
same.
it? So that's like, I mean, what's the big dick energy going to be for next week with Arachnids in the UK? It'll probably have
Stormzy.
completely yeah,
Stormzy with
that's
the
going to be
spiders.
mine. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like
yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this segment lasts.
So yeah, you know, segments on this show they drop like flies.
Shall we wrap up? Shall we give our ratings and reviews for this week?
Yep.
Yep. Do you want to hear Big Doctor Energy again?
Sure. Got that big Doctor energy. Got that big Doctor energy. Oh.
That's it. We got to sing along every
Welcome
time.
to the show.
Welcome to Big Doctor Energy. Right. Okay. Yeah. What are you going to rate it out of 10, mate?
Okay, brother, I'm coming in with that heat.
Heat. So hot.
All right.
So spicy. So spicy.
Now,
hit me with a spice. Hit me
What's
with a
this?
heat.
Connor like in season 11? What?
What?
What? Alright. Do you know what? Fuck it. What? 9.
No, I thought you were like 9.99.
Yeah, 9.99.
You giving it a nine?
No, 9. I really loved it.
You are a smart man, and I am
What'd you
also
get?
giving it a 9. Which means we get to fist bump. Bang.
Ow.
Oh. I've enjoyed all 3 of these episodes so far, I've got to say.
Great.
Series 11 is a cracker. Obviously, last week wasn't as good as the other 2 episodes, but yeah, it's great. This episode's fantastic. And let me tell you, Arachnids in the UK, that's got to be a certified 10 out of 10.
How can it not be?
How
You'd
could
be
it
a
not be
fool
with
to not
Stormzy?
give it a 10.
Stupid.
It needs to go in the. We need to have the 50% rule of fame with the episodes that get 10s.
Oh,
I think it's only been like 2 or 3.
yeah, there's only a couple. I think there was like 3 or 4 in the RTD era, and then that was pretty much it. Oh,
Yeah.
and then like Heaven Sent.
Heaven Sent, yeah. Heaven Sent, Wars of Mars, Empty Child Dances from me, and then you gave Human Nature, Family of Blood.
A 10.
I think that's it though. So
could be
what's
it.
that? Are
Oh,
we
did you give Midnight? You surely gave Midnight a 10.
Nah, I gave it a 9, I think, because I don't think that's a 10 episode,
You got
but
that big
I still love
doctor
it.
and
The G.
You gave Blink a 10.
Oh fuck, did I?
Yeah, so you're just
Okay,
objectively wrong.
Blink I've watched. I think it's the most watched episode. I've ever seen.
the same. That's why I just.
So I
can't
think
look
I
at it like that anymore.
just kind of can't watch it anymore. But you can't deny it. I actually, do you know what's funny? I rewatched. That's what you'll be saying when I tell you this. I rewatched Girl in the Fireplace.
Yep.
I held for last, but rewatched Girl in the Fireplace, and I rewatched The Library, well, the first part of the Library two-parter.
Yep.
Because I want to please the audience. I had COVID, and so did my mum, and I put on Science in the Library, and I waited to hear it, and I did. Like, oh, I love this one. There you go. And I was like, hey. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put on another banger. I put on Girl in the Fireplace. She's like,
I hate this one.
never seen this one. I'm like, Mum, you have. Do you hate when you know you're right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But
You're like, I did sit with your mum.
Seriously, you've seen it. I haven't. I'm like, Mum, you have seen this. I'm telling you right now. It's like, well, maybe I was doing what I'm doing now and just cleaning up in the background. Nothing changes. And I was like, okay.
That's bro. Our parents are so alike.
I think they are. I was like, all right, Mum, chill out. But yeah, it was great.
Alrighty. That's our show, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for listening
We
and watching.
love you very much.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 50Doctor. We'll be back next week to review Arachnids in the UK with a very special guest. Connor, who is our guest?
Aussie.
Oi.
Aussie.
Oz Chris from
Aussie.
the Madman with a Box
Aussie. Oi,
podcast will be joining us to review Arachnids in the UK. So a bit of a soft crossover with Madman with a Box over there. They're like a live stream focused YouTube
they got
channel
on hiatus
for a couple of weeks. Yeah, but Chris will be joining us, which will be fantastic.
That'd be great, man. I've also been tuning into Scott's live streams.
Oh, Scott's a lovely Perth
from
listener.
Perfy, yeah. I've been tuning into his live streams and just chatting mad shit. So
chatting mad shit.
Cool. Shout out to them.
We really are
being
like Aussie podcast. Let's go. Let's get Josh on. We'll get Crispy on. We're getting Chris on.
Yeah, but I feel like in the UK they're probably a bit more like that as well. Like, we'll just stick to the.
I just think it's how it's happened.
The Islanders.
The English love.
Hello, love.
What's an Australian?
Have you seen the new episode Doctor Who?
Only half my family's moved there.
Doctor Who. You seen the new episode Doctor Who, mate?
Doctor Who. That's how they talk, eh?
You bloody wanker.
The announcers on BBC are like, and now another episode of Doctor Who.
God save the bloody Queen.
Oh, the weather's shit. It's wet and it's raining.
But you already knew that. It's always like that.
Because just look out the fucking window.
Let's drink Stella and do a bag of cocaine. That's huge. In the UK.
It's huge in Australia.
Bro, you made me sound so bad last episode when you're like, Conor, are you doing drugs this episode? I'm like, bro, do you just try and make me look like the worst person on
I just set you up. It's my goal every week. I'm like, how bad can I make Conor look this week?
Bro, like,
it keeps me up at night. Like, what am I going to do next week?
I've never felt more shame than that, you know?
You shouldn't have
Someone who tuned to the show was like,
man? Do you need...
No, I remember I was at a pub in Pemberton where I was working, and she was like, I just checked out your podcast. The first thing I heard was, Conor, are you drinking pee? And I was like, bro, you got to be joking me.
Tell you what, I feel like I'm drinking pee right now with these beers. That's our show. Let's wrap things up.
Hey, man, they're for charity, okay? Come on.
Yeah, I think some proceeds go to charity, which is really great.
All of it.
Thank you for listening. Subscribe if you haven't already.
We love you.
Yeah, we'll be joined by Oz Chris next week. Conor, count us down.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's Aidan and Connor's podcast. We're doing Doctor Who reviews. We're space racist.
Doctor Who reviews. Yay! Space racist.
I hope you're clapping for 50% and not a space racist.
I'm clapping for the space racist because I'm a space racist myself.
Aidan's a racist, just not from space.
I'm a race.
Ist.
minus the ist. I'm a race minus ist. Race subtract the ist.
Right, it feels like a race to like the race to the finish line, which is like the grave.
Well, one day we'll die. One day I'll be back. One day.
Someday.
Someday I'll be back.
What was it? There should not be tears.
Can you do your best William Hartnell impression?
Okay.
Say,
jolly good smack bottom.
you're going to do that, you'll have a jolly good smack bottom.
I need a bit of spring cleaning. I'm doing my
I like
best.
how you're doing your best First Doctor and Twice Upon a Time
I'm
impression.
doing my best David Bradley impression. Who's William Hartnell, yeah?
William who? That's actually a Doctor Who Twitter account. William who?
They follow us.
They've obviously forgotten who
we are.
William Hartnell
doesn't
was.
come on the show. Thanks.
God, yeah, how dare
Thanks
they just not invite
for
themselves
nothing.
on. All right, thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.